Hello, welcome to this gentle adult yoga class. We're going to use a tennis ball today, so go grab something like that, which we can use to help in our class. Find a comfortable seat on your mat and we'll get started. So choosing any seat that you like, wriggle the buttocks flesh away, sit up nice and tall. We'll roll the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades flat on your back, supporting your heart. Exhale down through the sitting bones, growing roots into the earth. Inhale up through the top of your head, reaching into the heavens, and choose a hand position. If you put your hands down, you're grounding yourself. If you feel a little spacey, that tends to be my thing. Or if you feel too grounded, put your palms up to bring your energy up to help you feel lighter. Actually, that feels good too. So whichever way feels good to you this morning is the way you'll go. Close your eyes for just a moment. And tap in with how your body's feeling this morning. We're going to begin with a flow called parting clouds. We're going to inhale, hands up shoulder height. We're going to bend the elbows, drawing the hands in, curling the fingers, and then we're reaching forward and pushing the palms away, floating the hands down with the fingers up. Turn the palms and inhale. Bringing your hands in by bending the elbows, curling the fingers, bringing the energy towards your heart, and then releasing whatever you don't need and parting any clouds that are keeping your heart sun from shining, and then floating back down. Inhaling up, exhaling in, reaching forward, parting those clouds that are blocking the sun of your heart from shining. So this is really good for your hands and wrists as we roll the fingers in as we come in towards the heart, and then push the hands away. So notice how the wrists are getting a lot of action here, and then floating the hands down with the fingers up. And it's good for the shoulders. As you can see, bringing the shoulders in many different directions as well. Good for the whole arm system, arms, hands, elbows, wrists, fingers. It's good for the heart. And if you know anything about acupuncture, acupressure, or Chinese medicine, or meridians, we're working the meridians that have to do with our heart. So we're opening the heart, developing qualities of the heart, warmth, generosity, sunshine, playfulness, compassion. And now check in with yourself again and see how you're feeling. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll let the chin come down and we'll roll the ear over to one side. And we'll let the chin come down and roll the ear over to the other side. And we'll do that for a few times. And come back to center, look over your shoulder. And look over the other way. One more set. And come back to stillness. We'll come back to our neck later. Let's bring the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale with a sigh. Inhale up. Exhale. So this is turning on your vagus nerve, which is the nerve that's responsible for your fight or flight or stay and play, particularly your stay and play. When it's turned on, it causes the body to relax. And there's lots of ways to work with your vagus nerve, which we'll do a class on that in the coming weeks. But for now, just inhale up, exhale, and you can always research vagus nerve before we get to it. Inhale, let's bring the arms back up, interlace the hands and press them towards the sky. Stretching up through your side ribs, drawing your pelvic floor and your belly in and up as well. And then we'll reach to one side. If it works for your neck, you can turn. Come back to center and reach the other way. And come back to center. Let's float the arms down. We'll come into a spinal twist. Inhale back to center. We'll twist the other way. Back to center. Let's switch legs. Interlace your hands the weird way. And we'll do that whole thing again. Inhaling tall. Shoulder blades sliding down the back. Pelvic floor lifting. Lower abdominals lifting. And we'll stretch to one side. Inhale up and stretch over the other way. And back to center, spinal twist, floating the hands down. And twist the other way. And back to center. Take a breath and notice how you feel. Do a little cat and dog here, rounding the back. And lifting the heart. Rounding backwards. And inhaling, rocking forward. Your side view. Rounding backwards. Rocking forward and lifting up. So the whole back is involved, not just your upper back. Feels so good, opening the spine. And coming back to stillness. Let's stretch out the legs. And we'll bring one heel in, the other toes are up, and we'll reach forward with a straight back first, and then come over. Inhale up, and we'll change sides. Spinning your belly towards your straight leg, starting with a straight back, lifting through the heart, and then surrendering over. Inhale back up. Let's send out both legs. We'll do a little windshield wiper of the legs, opening up at the hips. And then we'll squeeze and spread the toes. and point and flex the ankles. Circle the ankles. Circle in the other way. And we'll go for a walk. Pick up one leg and then the other, and bending the knee. Draw the belly in, stretch up tall, so that we're not ignoring the rest of our body. Deep breaths into the legs, and a little bit of a, when the leg lands back down, you're getting a little bit of a impact there. So that's waking up the back of your legs as well, increasing the blood flow there, as well as opening the knees and the hips. Good job. Okay, let's grab a ball. And since we're with our legs right now, let's put the ball under one knee. And we'll massage the kneecap. Still sitting nice and tall in Dandasana. And then we'll bend that knee and squeeze the ball behind the knee. Sitting up tall again. So we're engaging the muscles and the joints and the ligaments and the acupressure points behind the knee. And release and see how that feels. Compare the two knees. This one should feel more open, and especially in the back. We'll put the ball behind the other knee and we'll massage that kneecap. And then we'll keep the ball behind the knee, and we'll bend the knee and squeeze. Deep breaths. And release, and notice how you feel. And let's bring those legs together. We'll do a little butterfly here. And open the legs out to a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale tall, and exhale coming. The toes are rolled up or slightly back. Again, starting with a long spine first, and then if you feel to, rounding over. When you find your edge, just stay there and breathe into it. And you may find that just through the breath and intention, the body opens, and you can go a little further. Keep your lower belly lifted to help support your back. And inhale your way back up. Let's come back into our butterfly. And then find the seated pose, whatever way you like. Easy pose, thunderbolt on a chair. We're going to do some neck work using our ball. So once again, there's 3 ways that I know to work with the tennis ball as a massage tool. You're working either with the muscle, same direction as the muscle, going across the muscle, or you're doing an orange squeeze into the muscle, or you're inventing your own way. So we've got lots of muscles in our neck and shoulders that are connected all the way down into our back. So I'd like to start with this big muscle right over my shoulder. You can go across that muscle, or you can go from shoulder to neck, back and forth, or orange squeeze into that muscle. Breathing deeply, you're breaking up tightness in the fascia, toxic crystal deposits in the muscles, increasing the blood flow. Feels good, doesn't it? It's okay to moan and groan inside because nobody can hear you. And we could spend the whole class just on the neck, which I do. But we won't spend the whole class today. I'll just show you what to do, and you can do it longer at home later. So let's change sides. And again, it's your practice. If you want to do something else, go right ahead. You can hold with the same hand or with the opposite hand, depending on what your flexibility is. Now, this is interesting to me, you may care or not, but when I teach the neck class specifically, it's a class that I teach first thing in the morning, and we don't do other asanas first to warm up. So when I do this part of the neck class, I'm usually very sore. But since we did our asanas first and warmed up, I find I'm not as sore. And I'm just sharing that information with you to inspire you to notice how doing your asanas every day really makes a difference. So now I'm moving up from my ear to my shoulder, that wonderful big muscle there. And you can look up the names of the muscles if you want to. I can pull out my anatomy book and tell you what they are. But I just like to say muscle from the neck to the shoulder, or from the shoulder to the neck, whatever. Or the neck to the ear. Because I can't remember those big Latin names. I can say them and say them and say them, and they just go in one ear and out the other. And the muscle will still be there, arose by any other name. So I'm doing the ear to the shoulder. I hope I said that right the first time. It's a wonderful muscle. A moment to notice, and then we'll do the other side. And you stop and feel the liveliness in your neck. We'll do 2 more spots today on either side of the spine, just going up and down. Do not go on the spine, but just from the base of your occipital ridge, right under your skull down side of your neck behind the spine, next to the spine. And then we'll do the other side again, just right under the occipital ridge. And then down on that side of the spine. So in my YouTube channel, there's a whole neck class with more than just what we're doing today. But today we're done for that. So we're just going to stop for a moment. Feel the energy in the neck. And let's do our next exercises again and see if they feel different. So, bring the chin down and roll the ear to one side. And roll the ear the other way. Do one more here. Back to center, stretch up tall, look over your shoulder. And look over the other way. And one more. And last one. And back to center. So that's it for that portion of our class. Let's come over onto our hands and knees. Actually, grab that ball again. I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna put that ball under my palm of my hand and wrap my fingers around and just pressing into the palm of my hand here in table pose. Giving a little stretch to the outside of that arm, a little stretch to the wrist in a different direction. And then we're going to change side. Oh yeah, that feels really open. So grabbing that ball, making a fist around the ball, pressing into it. Giving a little more stretch to the back of the wrist, front of the wrist, I guess that is, inside of the arm. Opening up the palm. Great. And then we'll put the ball away. Oh, that really opens up the palms and gives you a nice connection to the earth. And then we have our knees and feet pressing into the earth. And we'll open into a cat and a dog. And we'll press back into child. Inhaling into a dog tilt. Coming into a cat stretch. Lifting the tailbone, lowering the waist, pressing back. Inhaling, open and curl. Open the front of the body, stretch the back of the body. One more time, lift. Round the back, stretch up. Open the front of the body and press back into child pose. Inhale back into table. And we'll bring the right foot through and walk that foot forward as far as you like, coming onto your fingertips, coming into a nice low lunge. Lift the back toes and press them into the earth. And we'll stretch back into toe hamstring stretch, picking the front toes up off the floor and down towards your knee. Inhale, lifting the heart, dropping the hips. Draw the belly in to help you reach your hips back over your heel. One more time, let's come forward. Maybe coming up off your fingertips and coming up into a higher lunge here. Feel the shoulder blades coming down your back. Heart lifting, You're either looking forward or up, depending on your balance. And come on back down and we'll change sides. Bring the other foot through. Again, you can walk it as far forward as you like, as long as the knee stays over the heel. We're trying to get a nice stretch in the front of the other thigh. You know, we sit so much, so this leg is usually like that. And this is not as common. Lift the heel and place the toes on the floor. Look up past your eyebrows. And reach your hips back, lift your toes up, lower your head towards your knee. Inhale forward, opening the front of the body. Reach back. Just savor the sensation. This is such a wonderful series. If you like coming up higher, bring your hand to your thigh, lifting your lower belly, sliding your shoulder blades down your back, and looking forward or up depending on your balance. Feel the engagement of your core to help you feel safe and stable. And come on back down. And press back into child. Knees nice and wide, belly between your legs, forehead to the floor. Let's come back into table. And we'll come up into a downward facing dog and do a little downward dog march. So drawing the belly in, sliding the shoulder blades down, and turn those toes over. Let's lift the knees and hover. Press the hips back and we'll march, pressing one heel down. Coming up on the toes, pressing the heel down. Come up on the toes and press the heel down. Coming up and pressing down. Well, here's another interesting experience that I am having, that my heels are coming all the way to the floor right away. Now, is that because we opened the back of the knees earlier? I don't know the answer, but it's a good question. And let's come up on our toes, draw the belly in, reaching down through the base of the fingers. We'll lift the tailbone and press those heels down towards the floor. Press the thighs back. And come on back down into child. You can bring your hands behind you in Garbhasana. We're going to come back up into table. We'll do sunbird for a minute. We're going to send the right leg out and bring the nose and the knee towards each other. And inhale up. Moving with the breath. Keeping that outer hip reaching down rather than up, so pelvis is level towards the floor. I'm going to bring that one down. If your wrists are getting tired, you can be on your fists or on your elbows. And we'll bring that one down and come back into child. And yogi's choice, you can do a second set of sunbird, or you can come up into downward facing dog. So for down dog, I'm going to walk my hands a little more forward. I'm going to come up into Adho Mukha Svanasana. I'm going to send my right leg out behind me, either from table or from down dog. And then I'm going to bring the knee forward, and in the down dog variation, the whole body comes forward. And then I'm going to scoot back up into a down dog split. And inhale forward. Do one more. Then we'll come on back down. Take a break, maybe circle your wrists. And then choose, again, I would assume you would do the same pose on the other side, either table or down dog. Bring the opposite leg out behind you, keeping those hips level, even in the down dog variation. And then bringing the knee forward, bringing the body forward if you're in down dog, and kicking back. And come on back down into Balasana or Garbhasana. You can stay here or come into your squat, whichever you prefer. Take a moment here to feel the spine lengthening, grounding through the feet or through the shins if you're on the floor. And let's make our way to Uttanasana. Coming into a forward fold. And if you like, bringing your hands around behind you and coming into Yoga Mudra. Then slowly lengthen your spine, press into your heels. And inhale out. Float the arms up. Coming into tall mountain with the arms parallel. Finding something in front of you that's not moving and coming up onto your toes if that works for you. And let's float the arms back down. And we'll step out to a 5-pointed star. Take a nice deep breath here. Feeling the world as big as we can. And bring the hands behind us in Yoga Mudra. And turn the toes. Can't tell you which way because I don't have my arms out. To the right. Coming into a lunge here. And we'll turn our body towards that lunge foot, switching the direction of your heels. So that you now have your pelvis facing the short end of your mat. Lifting the heart, looking up if that's okay for your balance. And we'll dive forward. Again, you might choose ski jump, hanging out here, or if you have the flexibility, the shoulder comes inside the knee, the head comes down, and the arms come up. Support by lifting your lower belly. Deep breath into the points of maximum stretch, maybe in your back, maybe in your shoulders. And slowly inhale back up. Pressing into that front foot to give you stability. Inhale, straighten the legs. Come on back into your 5-pointed star. Getting as big as you can in all directions. Bring your hands behind you, interlace the fingers the weird way, and turn your body the other way so that your hips are facing the short end of your mat, coming into a lunge. And dive forward. And inhale back up. Pressing into the heel, front foot for balance, coming back into your 5-pointed star. And toe heel. We'll quietly jump back to Tadasana. Let's take this into dancer pose. So you can be against a wall if you need to. The first variation will start with hands on the hips, step forward on the left foot and lift the right heel. Slide those hands around behind you, lift the perineum and the lower belly, and begin to arc back. That's variation 1. Just use that as a warm-up. Let's step back. Step forward on the other side, lifting the back heel, rounding through the front foot, drawing the belly up and in, only arcing back and looking up as far as feels safe for your balance. And inhaling back up and coming back. So you can do a second set of that, and we'll hold it a little longer, or we're hitchhiking, stepping forward on one foot, bring that arm out in front of you, reaching back with your other hand and bringing your knees together, again, keeping that pelvis level, and then beginning to tip forward. You can stop anywhere along the continuum. You could just be holding your foot standing vertical. You want to make sure the knees are at least even with each other. The bent knee is not in front of the straight knee, it's with it or behind it. Good job. And we'll do the other side. Stepping forward on the opposite foot, either lifting that heel or hanging out there, or bringing your hand in front of you, grabbing your ankle or instep with the other hand, bringing those knees together and pressing them back. Coming forward if that's available to you. And the hips are level. Good job. March it out and come down onto your bellies on your mat. Take a few breaths here in crocodile pose. And let's continue with dancer on the floor. So those who had a challenge with balance will find this a little more interesting. So you're going to swing the left arm around in front of you, coming into a mini Sphinx pose, bringing your right hand behind you, point your right toes towards the floor, ceiling. If you can, you'll reach around and grab that foot. Again, the knees are parallel. You're not bringing that leg out to the side. That didn't feel good at all. That's why you're not doing it. Inhale, lifting the head and chest, lifting the knee if you can and kicking back. Again, if the knee doesn't come off the floor, just imagine it. Feel both hip creases pressing into the earth. So again, the pelvis is level, and this helps you get that secure pelvis alignment. Maybe we should do this first sometimes so you can really feel where you want the pelvis to be so that you're protecting your body. You know how important alignment is. We can hold this longer than the standing variation. Nice deep breath into the edge, the point of deepest sensation. And come on back down. Take a few breaths here in crocodile. And we'll change sides, swinging the right arm around in front of you in a variation of Sphinx pose. Pointing your left foot towards the sky. If you can grab that ankle, go ahead. Lifting the knee and pressing the foot away from your body. You're lifting your chest, lifting your shoulder. Deep breaths. And down and back into crocodile. Let's end our prone series with a half frog. So coming into Sphinx pose, you take the right leg and bend it out at a right angle. So right angle, right angle, right angle. Slide the shoulder blades down your back and open your heart. Look up past your eyebrows. Deep breath, nourishing breaths. Keep some length in the back of your neck. Keep pressing that hip down into the earth. And you can use your hand if that'll help too. Pressing the knee into the earth, opening up the inner groin. Isn't this fun? And we'll bring that leg in. Do a little rock on the pelvis here. And then we'll do the other side. So bending that knee at a right angle, foot at a right angle, pressing that hip crease down into the earth. Sliding the shoulder blades down the back, looking up past your eyebrows. Interesting, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a very active pulse in the front hip of the one we did first. And let's bring that leg back in. And we can come on down and windshield wiper the legs. And come to stillness for a few breaths. And let's roll over onto our backs, preparing for fish pose Matsyasana. And I'm going to give you a leg option today. We often do fish pose with our legs straight, but if you'd like to bring the soles of your feet together and try fish pose that way, you're welcome to do that. Coming down onto your back, bringing your hands underneath your buttocks and squeezing the elbows towards each other, spreading the fingers wide. Take a nice deep breath and come up onto the top of your head. Feel the spine pressing into your heart, lifting your heart towards the sky. No weight on your neck. And slide back down. And you can stay here with your legs, bringing your hands to your heart or overhead into two diamonds. And bring your hands down, bring your knees up towards the sky. Bring your right leg in and give it a hug. And you can place that foot on top of your left knee. Then taking this is a little confusing, I know. Left hand to the outside of your right leg. So it's opposite. It's left, right, left. And then we'll lower the knees down towards the left. If this is too confusing, just do a bent knee twist and turning your head away from your legs. Inhale, back to center. Place both feet on the floor. Wow. Square your shoulders and hips and notice the effect. And then we'll bring the left leg in, give it a hug. Place that foot on top of your right knee and lower the knees down. Oh, sorry. Taking your right hand to the outside of your left leg, lowering the knees down to the right. Again, if this doesn't work for you, just take a bent knee twist. Turn your head away from your knees and surrender your weight into the floor. Inhale back to center. Place your feet on the floor. Square your shoulders and hips. And if there's anything you need for Shavasana, do that now. And then come back down onto your mats. Allow the body to surrender into the mat and absorb the benefits of today's practice. You can stay here as long as you like. And when you're ready, begin to bring some movement back into your fingers and toes. Gently move and stretch in whatever way feels good to you. And slowly roll to one side. And make your way back to the seated position. Namaste.